Hey, good morning. It's Patricia Murphy. It's Friday. This is Seattle Now. This week's tornado alert was a good reminder that what we really need are some earthquake plans. Hundreds of teachers said they're in real need of some downtime. And when will we eat Cinerama's chocolate popcorn again? We're making sense of another week with Geekwire's Kurt Schlosser and KUOW's Jeannie Yandel. But first, let's get you caught up. The City Council's budget chair is defending her plan to cut SPD's budget by more than $10 million next year. Teresa Mosqueda says a projected revenue shortfall means the city should cut Mayor Durkin's hiring bonuses for police, along with some other initiatives. Durkin and Mayor-elect Bruce Harrell both criticized the proposal, with Harrell saying this month's election results showed voters rejected the idea of defunding the police. Mosqueda's proposal would still hire 125 police officers, though, and increase SPD's overtime budget by more than $4 million. Seattle University's men's basketball coach is out. Jim Hayford resigned yesterday, a week after he was put on leave, while the school looked into reports that he'd repeated racial slurs at least twice. Hayford reportedly apologized to his players after the latest incident, but a statement from Seattle U's athletic director said it was clear that he was no longer able to effectively lead the team. Assistant coach Chris Victor will step in to lead the Redhawks for the time being. And we are really getting soaked out there. The National Weather Service says Seattle could see up to 2 inches of rain in 24 hours by the time this system wraps up. Good news for reservoirs, bad news for skiers hoping for an early opening. The snow level is around 9,000 feet, so we're actually losing some snowpack this time around. Forecast says the heaviest rain should be over by tomorrow, but still a real potential for flooding in the rivers and increased risk of landslides into the weekend. Another Friday, another atmospheric river. And get out the sad light and your vitamin D. The sun is setting well before 5 p.m. now. Jeannie Yandel's back, editor at KUOW and co-host of Battle Tactics for Your Sexist Workplace. Jeannie, do you use a sad light?
I don't. But I also forget every winter that I'm going to feel terrible for 4 months. So maybe I should try one.
Kurt Schlosser's here too, reporter at Geekwire. Kurt, thanks so much for hanging out this week. How do you do with the rain and darkness of the Pacific Northwest this time of year?
I have a sad light. It's called my iPhone, and I just scroll Instagram.
Oh, good one. Good one. All right. Well, rain might be a lifestyle here, but this week, many Seattleites were confused and maybe a little unprepared when a tornado alert blared out from their mobile devices. Turns out it was a false alarm. Briefly explained, the National Weather Service in Seattle issued 2 tornado warnings specifically to locations in Kitsap County. But the warnings triggered 2 wireless emergency alerts that reached mobile devices not impacted by the warning. I did not get this, but my neighbor did. Did either of you get this alert on your phone?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah, twice. I got 2.
Okay, so can I ask, what was your reaction when you got the alert?
I was in the middle of a video meeting at work, our weekly editorial meeting. I read it, like I saw the words tornado in Kitsap County, and I put my phone down. It's like I didn't run for shelter or go to the lowest point in my house.
Yeah. I didn't get one. I was also, like you, I was in a meeting. I guess the really telling thing here is that all of us were in meetings when this happened, and none of us left those meetings when this happened. We were all like, I'm just going to stay here in the Zoom meeting. But yeah, I grew up in the Midwest, and so I was waiting for the temperature to change 30 degrees really suddenly. I was waiting for the sky to turn yellow. I was waiting for everything to become very still. Those are the things that I was taught to wait for before you take action, and I didn't see any of those things. As I'm saying it, I'm like, do I have any backing for this, or is this literally something that my mom or one of my aunts told me? But anyway, as an adult, I'm still doing this thing that another adult told me when I was a kid, and I don't know if whether that's accurate or not.
Kurt, you did some reporting on this. What actually happened here?
Basically, there was overshoot, as they call it. which I guess you could imagine if you were driving your car to Kitsap County or you were on a ferry over to Bremerton, you would want to know that there was potentially a tornado on the other side of Elliott Bay. But for someone sitting in their house in Ballard like I was, that's severe overshoot.
Well, and the alert was specific to Kitsap County. So if you read it, there was definitely the information you needed in there. And I don't know, I would rather be overwarned than underwarned personally, so I can spring into action if I need to. And in this case, I guess call Jeannie Yandel, because you apparently knew a lot more than most people around here about an impending tornado.
I still think it's really important to say I have no idea whether that stuff is right. It's just what somebody told me when I was a kid. I've never looked into it to see whether that's accurate. So I could just be saying totally made up things. Also, are tornado drills common here? I mean, they were super common where I grew up, but do kids learn what to do in the event of a tornado? Do they drill that stuff here?
Clearly not. None of us seem to know what the plan is if it were to happen. This reminds me, though, do you have an earthquake plan? Because that is actually far more likely here.
Yeah, I think if this was an earthquake warning, there'd probably be a lot more answering to do on why this scared a lot of people. I mean, if I got 2 earthquake warnings in my basement, I wouldn't have sat on my Zoom call for 15 more minutes. I would have probably ran up the street, screaming my head off, or gone to find my family. That's a little more a little more
relevant to our experience here for sure. Would not have, definitely not ignored or blown off an earthquake alert on my phone, even if it was for Kitsap or someplace else, for sure. Seattle parents were left scrambling after the district abruptly canceled Friday classes, turning the Veterans Day holiday into a surprise 4-day weekend. Bellevue and Kent did the same thing, too. Apparently, too many teachers and staff took the day off to keep school open. District says it's because the teachers are burned out and stressed out, and they needed the day. And this is a quote. Our hope is that the 4-day weekend allows for some level of physical, mental, and emotional rest and recharging. Burnout is real. The burnout is real.
Yeah. I mean, one, I'm too tired to scramble anymore as a parent. I've been scrambling for 19 months and I'm just too tired to scramble. So when I got that, I was like, okay, so what are we going to do tomorrow? Yeah. I'm still going to work. My spouse is still going to work. My kid is going to play a lot of Minecraft.
Was she excited about this?
She's super excited. Oh my God.
My teenager was angling Tuesday for this, saying none of his teachers were going to be in school on Friday and that he wanted the day off. And I was like, no, tough it out.
My kid's teacher is in Vegas for the week. He hasn't been there at all this week. So, yeah. They have substitutes, but it's been a different one every day. So, I'm glad they did it. I'm glad the district was like, you know what? This is too much for everybody. Let's just call it. I'm actually kind of glad.
Yeah, my kids, I have a 9th grader and a 3rd grader, and they were definitely stoked for this. I think my 9th grader slept till about 1 today. So what am I going to do with my kid? Well, I guess I'll leave him in bed.
The other side of this is I saw 2 things. Speculation on a parent thread that this was actually a misprinted calendar earlier that went out and that was to blame. I don't know if that is true. Also, I noticed, some parents super harsh on teachers, which I do not get, because this is the hardest job in the world right now. I'm sorry, we are all running on fumes, including teachers. So I was very surprised to see harsh words about this for teachers from parents.
Yeah. It's obviously there are lots of families who rely on the other services that the school provides when it's open. But I didn't spend a ton of time on social media because I felt like I could predict what parents in my at my kids' school were going to say. But if you have even a little bit of give or flexibility in terms of how this affects your family, it's probably going to be fine. It'll be an inconvenience. I really just feel like if people say they need some time, of course they need time. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I would say the teachers have a right to take the day. It's on the district to figure out that they have a significant problem on the day and either act accordingly and give people notice, right? Or try to fill it, which I guess they did, and they could not. So here we ended up with this late notice, which is the real unfortunate part. Because you're right, Jeannie, a 4-day weekend, I'm down. I am here for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people trying to connect the dots at this point because, Well, maybe we can all watch a movie on Friday, but not at the Cinerama. Did you see there's an online petition to reopen this place? It's been 2 years since Cinerama had movies in it. And Kurt, you wrote about this too this week. The online petition with now 4,000 plus signatures is hoping to persuade Vulcan to reopen the Cinerama, or sell it at least to someone who will. Kurt, a lot of nostalgia for this place.
Yeah, we were starting to hear from readers, and especially as Dune hit theaters, that's a big sort of tentpole blockbuster sci-fi thing. And selfishly, I wanted to see Dune at the Cinerama and couldn't, so I went to Cinebar up in Montlake Terrace, and the experience was wonderful, probably because I had 5 IPAs or something. I don't know. It was just, they serve you right in your seat.
Wow.
But the Cinerama, what is the deal? Why would no one jump up to either say, yes, it's coming back and here's the timeline. We know you love it and we want it to be reopened, or we've sort of run our course with these things that Paul Allen was into. And as Vulcan, we're kind of changing direction a little bit and we're looking for a buyer. Here, everybody jump up and say, I'll take it, And that's the frustration of fans. It's like, okay, we made it through. We haven't made it through the pandemic entirely, but stuff is open. People are vaccinated. Let's get some answers to this cultural sort of touchstone, this landmark movie house. There's only, 2 or 3 left in the world. One of them's closed in LA right now and has a petition for its reopening as well. So it's frustration, and it goes across other Allen properties, other Vulcan properties. The Living Computers Museum is in the same boat, closed for the foreseeable future.
Yep. And now this is Jody Allen's call at this point, right? Because Paul has passed away and she is in charge of the estate and she's not saying anything.
Yeah, Vulcan said nothing new to share. We'll update you when we know. That was their response to me this week. And the petition is a week or 2 old at this point and has a few thousand signatures. So it's just kind of a chance to check in. And as these movies come along and people are back and they're going to movies, they're talking about it. They're like, what's up with the Cinerama? Why can't we go there?
Yeah, Dune is definitely a movie you'd want to see, Cinerama. Jeannie, when is the last time you were there?
Oh my gosh. Definitely 2019. I couldn't tell you exactly when. I guess it probably would have been to see Captain Marvel. And I have to be honest, I really like the experience of the Cinerama, or Cinerama. I want to acknowledge that we've said it both ways. It's like a GIF situation here. But the thing that I miss the most of all is the chocolate covered popcorn. Oh, and I would be okay if somebody just brought that back. It's so good.
I am going to be the only one here who says that I find this experience at the Cinerama overwhelming. I'm sorry. The last movie I saw here was the middle movie of Lord of the Rings. It's too much. I remember my husband always makes fun of me. I leaned over in the middle of the movie. I said, it's too much.
Yeah, well, don't go to a Kraken game, because talk about an overwhelmingly hyper visual and hyper loud experience. The media display that goes on there is pretty wild.
But I'm excited to go see a Kraken game, and I think the difference is the human interaction of a Kraken game versus the visual assault of a large screen with very loud, dramatic events happening on it. I don't know.
I look forward to your petition to keep the Cinerama closed.
Except for the chocolate popcorn, please.
Oh, we are done. We are leaving it right there. Thanks to our guests, Kurt Schlosser and Jeannie Yandel. You two have a great weekend.
Thanks so much.
Trish.
Thanks for listening. Jason Pagano produced today's show. Our production team is Jenny Cecil Moore, Diana Opong, Caroline Chamberlain Gomez, and Clare McGrane. Matt Jorgensen does our theme music. I'm Patricia Murphy. Have a great weekend.